We're Pete and Lizzie.
And we live in Winscombe, which is a village in North Somerset.
We were heating our house with a oil combi boiler. The combi boiler didn't work very well in terms of heating our hot water. So the first thing we did was to replace that with a solar thermal system and a hot water tank. Although the boiler was in this room, it was actually the coldest room in the house. And as it's a kitchen diner, it's a room that's used a lot. So in that sense, it wasn't very effective. Now with the main heat source in this room, it's definitely much warmer, and that heat dissipates to the rest of the house. So yes, I think it works much better. In our previous house we had a Rayburn and we liked that very much, so we were looking for something similar that was powered with a renewable fuel, and the Klover is the product we came up with. I work for a renewable energy installer. We install PV, solar thermal, heat pumps, biomass boilers, all the renewable technologies. And there is really nothing on the market that has a boiler facility to heat your home, a cooking facility, an oven, and fits into the environment of a kitchen.
What I like about it particularly is, having had a Rayburn in the past, is the hot plate, which is a nice big area. So with the sort of cooking that you do on a stove like this, you've got plenty of room to juggle your pans around. So the oven with this might appear at first a bit narrower than some, but I find that although it's narrow, it's actually the width is pretty normal. So I'm happy to get most of my stuff in there, baking and cakes and what have you, and it's quite a good depth as well. You can also dry washing on, which is useful. I mean, that's a great thing too in the winter, to have an extra space to finish up airing the washing. So yeah.
Having looked at other pellet boilers from other companies, I think this is one of the best. I think the quality is excellent. It's extremely well finished. Where it's welded, it's put together really cleanly and neatly. Not only does it look solid, it is solid, whereas you can look at some other pellet boilers and the metalwork is really thin and flimsy and sort of wobbles around when you touch it. This certainly doesn't do that.
I like the cosy feel of it. You know, if you're cooking a meal, we tend to eat in here when the family are here, so you've got the heat and the cooking and everything goes on in this room together, so it makes it a social space, a warm social space, which is nice.
Oh, you just see the flame, that's another positive thing, of course. So, like sitting around a real fire. And it's relatively quiet. I mean, it's one of the questions that we're often asked, you know, how noisy are these things? And I say, well, usually they are quieter than conventional boilers. If you had an oil boiler in your room, as we did here, it's actually noisier than this.
For setting the heating, it's all on this thermostat control, and you go to the home page and you can select whether it's going to be hot water that you want to boost, or generally the central heating. We've got it timed for morning and evening. Again, you can adjust that seasonally, and it's all very easy. It's just a step through. Recently,
we've had a green open doors here locally, and we've had it was over a weekend, a Saturday and Sunday, and we probably had about 30 people in all. Some of those were neighbours, but some were strangers who came interested in the renewable technologies, and they were some individuals were really excited because they'd seen nothing like it before and didn't know that this sort of technology existed, or that you could get cookers and ranges that would operate off wood pellets. You do have to put the pellets in, you do have to clean them every 2 or 3 days. But that, I think, there's a positive aspect to that. You know, you're involved with the whole process of heating. And some people might like that. Well, some people do like that, have lots of wood burning stoves, but others won't want to do that, and they just want to flick a switch and the heat's on.
We find we use about two and a bit bags in winter when it's full on, you know, for the morning and the evening. So it's not an arduous job. We've got the pellets at the moment in the garage. That's just the ash from a couple of days. And if you're a gardener, it's absolutely brilliant for your onions and fruit trees and generally improving soil, so it's a win-win.